coming out here after 30 years. Yeah, I ain't got nothing, but I'm gonna have something because I'm rich in personality, you know, and I'm rich in love. My family love me, and that's really all that counts.
All right, Banky, what's going on with you, man?
Man, I'm just here. What's going on, man?
Well, first I want to say appreciate the warm welcome here over Banky Pound.
Yeah, always welcome, man. Always welcome. TBP and APS is in business.
Damn right.
Yeah.
Helping each other out.
Yeah.
Helping you put together better quality videos. Not saying what you're doing isn't quality, but just trying to help.
Enhance. We enhancing.
That's the word right there.
Yeah, we enhancing.
All right, look. I feel like what we're getting ready to talk about today is something that your audience is really going to be interested in. We're getting ready to talk about one of the most dangerous prisons that you served time at over the course of the 33 years that you were locked up for. The interesting thing is, this wasn't the only dangerous prison. This is one of a few.
Most definitely.
But this is fresh in your mind right now because we've been talking about this place.
Right.
And tell us about this prison, which, interestingly enough, I served time at myself, but nowhere, certainly not during the time that you did when it was so dangerous. But tell us this prison and, you know, what made it so dangerous.
Well, the prison in question is Mecklenburg, man. Mecklenburg, man. I went to Mecklenburg, I think in 89 or 90. And to my understanding, man, Mecklenburg was the last stop. That was where you was going. You know, I had already previously been in the wall, you know, from coming from receiving. But Mecklenburg was the last stop, man. It was like a compound where they just had death row and a select number of people on the compound. I want to say it's 100 and something. It was 100 and some people on the population, and anywhere from 80 to 100 in segregation. And the criteria to get there was to have been out of order on a regular institution, meaning you done pushed that Bethlehem or you done assaulted the officer in a certain type of way or something like that. That was the only criteria to get there. So they were supposed to send you here to get right. And if you didn't get right here, you probably be, you know, in the hole for years, maybe even decades, and or you might be X'd out, because they had a TAC team there, which was the first time that I was really getting hip to the TAC team, which was a whole unit that they had that was dedicated to, you know, stopping you from doing whatever it is that you thought you can do. You know, they coming with the Ninja Turtle suits on. They all 6 feet something, 200, 300 pounds. They got the shields, they got the billy clubs and all of that. And they'll run down on you, man, and they'll put a hurting on you, you know. So you knew if they was coming, then, you know, whatever it is that you could do, you better go ahead and do it, because they was going to do what they could do anyway. And the thing about that TAC team that they had on Mecklenburg was unlike any other TAC team that I ran across throughout the course of my bit was, once they made the call to them, you couldn't even surrender. And I thought that was crazy because, like, I done been on other institutions where they call the TAC team, you bucking or whatever you doing, I ain't going in, and they call the TAC team, and the TAC team come, you say, all right, man, I give up, you turn around, you cuff up. Nah, that wasn't the case on Mecklenburg. When they call them, they coming, and they gon' put a hurting on you. You know, and they came, they was stomping, and, you know, you could hear them coming. They was stomping, they was in order, it was insane, man. And I had seen them run down on a few people, you know, while I was there, because when I first went there, I was in the hole. As you know, I explained to some of y'all on my page before, I had came there for some, you know, some stuff, and they was acting like they didn't want to let me on the yard. And then when they brought me in the warden's office, and the major and the warden and the captain had a conversation with me before they let me on the yard, but they made it unknown when you go on this yard, this is what's happening. They said they had a note from Augusta that said not to let me on the yard. Augusta was hating you know, not to let me on the yard. I couldn't be trusted, whatever. But the warden was making it known to me, which I told y'all at the time, that warden looked like Luther Vandross. Warden Thompson, he looked like Luther Vandross. But he made it known, we're going to let you out on the yard. They was so casual. It was eerie. It was so casual, it was eerie. You know, I'm sitting in there with them. They drinking coffee, eating donuts. I'm cuffed up and all this, and they talking to me. It was just so eerie. Like, we're going to let you on the yard. Yeah, we know about you. We know everything, all this stuff you've been doing at Augusta and all. Well, we're going to let you out there because we got some killers out there, too. We're going to let you right on out there with the rest of the killers. You do whatever you want to do. They just wanted to get that point across. They said, but I'm going to tell you this. If you put your hands on every one of my officers, every one of them, for any reason, and they made it clear that, I might not make it home, you know. And I was like, boom. And he was like, you still want to go on the yard? I was like, yeah. Because, man, you know, you young and you in segregation, man. And I told y'all, segregation, man, it's draining, man. It takes your mental. We social creatures. I'm looking at the wall and the floor and the ceiling and the wall, the floor, the ceiling, day in and day out, man. And you heard voices, people on the yard. You heard, it messed with your mental. So I was willing to go out there no matter what, because like I said, at that time, my mentality already was, I'm going to do whatever I got to do to survive no matter what it is. So, but man, I'm telling you, when I got out there on that yard and I started seeing these people and these names that I had already heard about, and these dudes that's legendary in this system, and you trying to put what you've heard to this face. You know what I'm saying? You looking at this dude and you heard, oh man, this dude done stabbed up that many people. He done did this, or he done killed somebody in the system and on the street. And you looking at him and you see him over there playing basketball or playing cards or something and laughing. And you like, is that him? It's weird, man. But it is him, because as you be around these people more, you'll see them. They regular people. But they got a transformation that'll click in their brain, man, and they'll turn into somebody else that you ain't even used to, that you ain't even seen before. And this be the person that you heard about. So I'm learning all of this stuff as I'm here. And like I told y'all, one of the names, like Cupcake, man, Cupcake name was already big in the system. Cupcake had already had a body in the system. He had already had a homicide in the system. And I had heard his name, and you said the name Cupcake. Yeah, well, it ain't mean what you thought it meant, you know. And when I got there and I was in the hole, and I explained to y'all before, I heard somebody holler out his name, so he was in segregation with me. But I heard somebody, yeah, Cake, man, where you going outside? And he was like, yeah, I'm going out. Why, you know, F you asking me what I'm doing? And he had this big, deep voice, and he cussing at the dude. He like, yeah, Cake, man, I just was seeing you going out. Man, don't be calling me and all. And I'm like, oh, this him. You know, he in the block with me. And I'm like, oh. And then his voice sounds so strong and deep, and the way he talking to people and the way they responding. I'm like, this joke getting ready to come out to say, this joke getting ready to be 6'7", 300, all big in it. And we go out on the yard and they take us out, you know, one at a time, because we ain't saved. Man, I get out on the yard, and when they get the last person out there, dude milling around, walking around, we on one caged in fence with barbed wire around it with a basketball court. This is our wreck in segregation, 1 hour. So I'm looking, and it's about 13, 14 people out here, and I'm looking around. Like, I don't see no big dude. I don't see no, he must ain't come out. He talking all that stuff ain't come out. And then they start letting population out. And I heard somebody hollering over there, hey, Cake, what's up, man? What's up? And I see the dude on the fence, yo, what's up, man? Yeah, man. And I look, and I'm like, him? That's him? Tall, dark skin, slim though, you know. He don't look like nothing special. You know what I'm saying? He don't look like nothing special, just his voice. But I'm like, that's Cupcake. And I'm like, boom. But I see the respect he getting. I see the respect he getting from the guards. I see the respect he getting from the dudes from the yard. See what I'm saying? This is when you in school right now, you got to pay attention to this, because looks are definitely deceiving. You know what I'm saying? So that's who he was. So these were things that was being revealed to me. And then when I get on the yard, I'm seeing these dudes, these legendary names. I'm watching how they moving, and I'm like, and I'm just looking at all these dudes, and I'm just keeping it 100. I was nervous, pervs, but I'm dangerous when I'm nervous. I'm super dangerous when I'm nervous because I don't know what's gonna happen. I'm trying to get me a knife made. I got one made ASAP. But I ended up being in a block with couple of dudes that I had already did time with on the Gus. I was in there with Block, Southside Block. I was in there with him. It was another dude in there, Puerto Rican dude that I was locked up with before. And then I was, meeting the other dudes. This is the same part I was on with Dexter Perry and Graham and BMO. And y'all remember BMO is the dude that's legendary for, trying to escape, and went to the hospital and had a little 22 pistol in his jock scrap and pulled it out, tried to shoot his way out of MCV. You know what I'm saying? These the dudes I was living around now. These right beside me every day, So it was crazy, man. But then when we started going out on the yard, man, and you won't really seeing too many beefs on the yard on Mecklenburg. Why? Because you got killers and killers and killers and killers. So ain't nobody really trying to beef because somebody got to produce. Then you got to keep your killer status. So it's really not gonna be a whole lot of that. But when it is, man, it's deadly, man. I remember the first time I seen dudes slinging that blade, and it just popped off just like that. And I'm like, oh man, and I'm like looking around me, like who around me, and I'm scrapped. And I ain't did nothing to nobody, but at the same time, it'll make you nervous. You like touching and making sure you got it where you can grab it. And man, I just seen dude, he was just chopping, and dude was kicking him, trying to get him up off of him, and he hitting him, and ain't nobody coming to help him.
What was that about?
It just about they had a disagreement from running their mouth through the gate. Well, I'm coming out tomorrow. Because when you on Mecklenburg, you been there, you see how this part right here, then this part right here, then around the corner, you got this part and this part. They was par for par with each other, and they barking at each other overnight. And they come out, and both of them come out, and it just jumped off. I mean, they didn't hesitate. They didn't do no whole lot of talking about getting to it or nothing. Soon as they locked the door and the police was gone, and they just went to it.
Were they both stabbing each other?
Yeah, but the one was getting stabbed worse than the other. And I think his knife fell out. His knife fell, but when his knife fell, he couldn't get to it because dude was down on him. And then he had him down against the fence, and he trying to kick him up off of him, but then he started hitting him in his leg. And I'm looking, and I'm like, man, and I had already seen stabbings before. I seen death in the wall. But I'm telling you, man, when you see it in real life, in real time, it's different, man, and it hit different every time. Because when I seen that stuff in the wall, man, I ain't gonna lie to you, I was shook up. I was nervous, man. I said, man, I can't live like this. It ain't no way, because you young and there's no way you think you can live like this. I don't want to be around this stuff, but it's no escape. You can't get away. You know what I'm saying? There's nowhere to go. So when I seen that at the Bird, I'm like, man, so you thinking in your mind, this is everywhere. This is how it's going down. This is what they doing. This is the lifestyle. So you gotta get something in you to say, man, I gotta do this. I ain't got no other choice. But also too, man, you gotta make decisions. You got decisions to make. You know what I'm saying? You got decisions to make, and I don't care what nobody tell you. I don't care who it is. It's just me. I say it to whoever. Man, if you coming in there and you first seeing this type of stuff, man, if you saying you won't scared, you lying. You lying, dog. You gotta be scared. Unless you just you care nothing about your life, you gotta be scared. Because even if you say you ain't scared, bro, it's impossible. You know what I'm saying? It's impossible, because even getting stabbed to death that's gonna be horrible. That's gonna be a horrible death. Period. You know what I'm saying? It's definitely worse than getting shot or whatever. It's gonna be a horrible death. You know what I'm saying? Because you're gonna feel every blow and you're gonna be trying to defend yourself. So when you seeing people losing their life to that, people getting, losing the eye or getting, colostomy bags or something to that, man, if you say you ain't scared of that, man, you lying, dog. You know, and that's how things was going down on Mecklenburg, man, on a regular basis. And to see that and to see all these names and all these dudes and the way they was moving, the way they was operating, they was gambling, the way they talking to each other. Both, when Bo got there, the way Bo talk, man, like I say, if you got any spine in your back, you gonna have to fight. But then look at what you're going up against. And not only was Bo the notorious Bo Billy, all the other killers on the camp gonna side with him, whether he right or wrong. If you beefing with Bo, you not only got to worry about Bo, you got to worry about Cupcake, George Lee Flight, George McGee, Shorty Pimp, all of the Pinky, all these dudes is killers in their own right, and they gonna side with him. Who is you? Young dude coming in the penitentiary. Who is you? Somebody coming from another institution with a name. You still can't go up against these forces, dog. It's suicide.
So let's talk about you going to this place. You were young. You were in your early 20s when you got to Mecklenburg. You were coming from where?
I was coming from Augusta, and I had the incident. People on y'all know what I'm talking about, where I had my first real violent incident. You know, I ended up having to stab a dude, Big Raymond. But I will say in my defense, he campaigned for that, and he got elected. And I ended up going there, and I had been on Augusta for a couple of years, and I had prior incident to that, and I guess they felt like, you know, with the amount of time that I had attached to my name, and then those couple of incidents, they was like, okay, well, we'll send him there. So that's how I ended up there. But I ain't gonna lie to you, I felt like I don't supposed to be here. You know, that's how I was feeling, like I don't supposed to be here. These dudes been in the system 10, 15, 20 years. I don't supposed to be here. I'm coming in the system just defending myself, learning how to navigate my way through prison. And they dropped me off right there. And that was the same thing that happened with me getting in the wall. I'm receiving at Southampton and just ended up getting in a fist fight. And I think now looking back on in retrospect, I think they was doing me like that more so for the amount of time that I had. You know what I'm saying? And they probably looking at the amount of time that I had, which was 2 life sentences plus. So they probably like, okay, well, yeah, this is how he want to act. This is how he want to live. Let's put him right here. I think that's more so what it was, because, I definitely don't think I deserved Mecklenburg, not at that young age. I don't think so. And it could have turned out bad for me.
How did it not, though? You know, you're a young guy going there. You know, you're just trying to survive. You got all of this time. You're in there with all of these super dangerous guys who've got bodies in the system, not scared to kill people. You know, you get out there. How are you able to navigate this and come out of this thing in one piece?
You know what? That's a good question. And you know what I looking back now, you know what I can attribute that to? Now, this is the thing about the system. Just like I heard about all them dudes' name, when you do something real violent in the system, and it spreads, man, faster than the email. You know, I didn't know that at the time. So it was like the incident that I had on Augusta with Big Raymond, the institution had not been open nothing but probably about 5 years. That was the first real serious incident that they had with the Bethlehem with a knife involved. And it just happened to be me. So by the time I got to Mecklenburg, all these killers and big names, they knew who I was. It was like, oh, that's the short that stabbed dude on Augusta. So they knew who I was. But I didn't know this at the time, but I know now. And I'm gonna tell you, one of the people, the first persons did I learn that from, and RIP to him, man. I was going to do an interview with him too, man, before he ended up passed away. And he turned out to be a real good friend of mine, man, and one of the biggest names in the Virginia penal system, Shorty Pimp. RIP to him. Shorty went in with 5 years, ended up doing 43, 42 years, because he carried it hard like that. But I remember when I first went out on the yard. When I got to the yard and I went out on the yard and they was playing poker and they was skinning and stuff and playing poker. And I played poker at the time. I was already into the poker thing. Bad decision, but I was already into it. And I'm looking around and standing around looking, deciding if I'm going to get in the game or not, or seeing who at the table, this, that, and the third. And I remember Shorty Pimp saying to me, what's up, y'all? I said, what's up? And he was like, you just got here, then you came from Augusta. And I was like, yeah. And he said, what they call you? And I told him, I said, Bank. He was like, yeah. Yeah, you want to stay at that dude on Augusta, didn't you? I said, I don't know nothing about it. He said, yeah, that's you. Yeah. So, looking back on that now, I knew they knew who I was. And by Shorty Pimp befriending me, I think that paved the way for less, friction from other people. Because he was well known. You know what I'm saying? Well known as that one of Bo Billy running partners. I think he got caught up in that case with Bo Billy too when the thing happened in the wall. But I think by me getting cool with Shorty off the rip, I think that opened the door to me being cool with a lot of other people that was already in the mix, that already had names, George McGee, Cupcake, Wink Wink, Pinky, all of these dudes, even Bo when he came on, because that's him and Bo is they like this. So I think that helped me a lot. Plus the dudes that I aligned myself with that was in the block with me, like Graham Hitman. Me and Graham ended up being cool, super cool, more, yeah, he probably was my best friend on Mecklenburg, you know what I'm saying? So shout out to Graham. I think that helped a lot as well. But yeah, man, to be honest with you though, it was just for real, it's the luck of the draw, man. God gotta be with you, dog, because ain't nobody else with you up in them cages, man. God gotta be with you. So I think I had a little luck and I had a little favor as well, because I ain't gonna lie, like I said, I was nervous. If somebody would've, pulled up on me with any type of foolishness, I was going all out. Because I had seen too much already and I was too leery to be on the receiving end of that. I'd rather be doing it, than getting it done to me. So I was real leery, man. So yeah, it just worked out. And I don't think I don't think at the time anyway, and even now, I don't think I'm a controversial person, man. If you come to me correct, I'm going to come correct. If you come wrong, then I'm going to come extra wrong because I'm going to be nervous. So I'm dangerous when I'm nervous. But if you dealing with me on a regular basis and talking to me like you got sense, I could get along with anybody, even killers. You know what I'm saying? I could get along with them. Me and Bo end up being super cool. And there's a whole rack of people that don't even want to talk to Bo. You know what I'm saying? They don't even want to. Yeah, they ain't gonna disrespect them, obviously, but it's a whole lot of rack of people don't even want to talk to Bo. If Bo in a poker game, they don't even want to get in the game because Bo in the game. You know what I'm saying? If they playing dice, they don't want to even be around them. So it's I think I'm more of a people person, man, and I can relate to people, and I think I attribute that to probably living in the city, living in DC, man. You got all kinds, so lucky, man. Just to be honest, just lucky.
You mentioned that a way that you probably survived that was, people had heard about you. You shared about so many notorious people in the prison system here in Virginia. You were probably one yourself, given the fact that what you just shared right there, you were involved in the first stabbing on Augusta after that opened. So these people had already heard about you when you got to Mecklenburg. I was asking how you survived this, but it's interesting that you mentioned, you get to Mecklenburg and you get involved in the poker game, which is probably one of the most dangerous ththings that you could have gotten involved with there.
And
because if problems are going to take place, that's one place that they're definitely going to be at.
Yeah, I don't think I was. I know for a fact. Yeah, I won't operate on my highest level of thinking. Then, prison be so bored, man. And by then, I done been in a couple of years. It's so bored that if you get involved in something like cards or gambling or something like that, man, to be honest with you, at the time, it'd be exciting. You know what I'm saying? It'd be so exciting, be adrenaline, make you feel like you ain't as bored or you ain't where you at, and that's all good until a problem arises, and then you be asking yourself, why you get involved in it. But at the time, that was the only thing that was really taking my interest away from being where I was at, you know. And it was Mecklenburg probably was it probably was the most dangerous gambling I did, because I knew the stakes that if somebody say you cheating or somebody trying to buck on the money or you ain't got the money yourself to pay what you owe, it's 100% all that's gonna end in violence, 100%. And yeah, and it was going on a lot, um, dudes ain't had the money, like Gangsta Slim. Y'all know about Gangsta Slim. So Gangsta Slim might get in the game and he done lost $100 something and he ain't got the money. So then the house man got to come up with the money to pay you. So then you want the money from the house man because you don't care who owe him. But then he a killer too, and he's saying just hold on, and you saying you ain't trying to wait because if you wait, then it's looking like you weak. So it's just so much stuff to go into it, man, that I literally had no business being involved in it, And but yeah, there I was. But yeah, man, I just won't think it on the whole level. That's why I say too, it was a lot of luck involved, and there was a lot of people praying for me, man, because I put myself in a lot of dangerous situations during them days right there. And the way you say they probably looked at me like that, even if they did, I didn't. I'm looking at them like I know these names, like ain't no way they know me. What I did with Big Raymond was something I felt like I had to do. I'm thinking in my mind, whether I was right or wrong, that these jokers just do this. This is what they do. So that's two different things. No matter how they was looking at me, and I never know, I was looking at them like, oh, these some super dangerous dudes. And here it is, I'm playing cards and stuff with them. So yeah, I won't thinking on no high level.
Legitimately gambling with your life.
Yeah, yeah.
Look, I want to share a little perspective about Mecklenburg. I served time there. I only served 7 years, nowhere near the amount of time that you've served. But I went there when that place was a receiving compound. So it was no longer this maximum security last stop, as you've referred to it as. This was level 1 through 5 when I went there. I think I got there in 2011. And this was still a scary place to be at because you're there with level 1 through 5. You've got the worst of the worst here with the most minimal as well.
Right.
But Mecklenburg, and I actually went there twice, which is the crazy thing. I went there for receiving on 2 different prison sentences. But the first time I went there was, kind of a cakewalk. And it's crazy for me to think that, knowing how notoriously violent and dangerous this place was back during the time that you went there. The second time I went there, it was a lot scarier. They were just coming off of lockdown for a gang war on the yard. The tension was still high out there. The guards were telling us, hey, you're lucky. We're just coming off of lockdown. Dude got his whole head split open out here. I think that people who went to Mecklenburg when it was a receiving unit were still trying to carry on the reputation of what this place once was. It was kind of a little bit of bragging rights for some guys to be at this place. Oh, right. Shit, I'm at Mecklenburg.
Right.
But this prison was easily seen, if you were there, it was easy to see why this place could have been so violent. They had stairwells and blind spots and, walking through these gates going out onto the yard. There wasn't a lot of cameras out there. When you were there probably were no cameras.
Zero.
You're in these hallways and these stairwells, and going to the chow hall, like going to the chow hall was scary. You just never knew what could take place. And to think about what had taken place there, it's just interesting for me to hear you share about it. While you were there, how long were you there, and what was, one of the crazier things that you saw while serving your time at this place?
Well, I think I was there for anywhere from 3.5 to 4 years, which is crazy when you say going to the chow hall. When I was there, we didn't have child hall. They shut the child hall down because they didn't want people, the population congregating like that. They brought all meals to the cell block. Never went to the child hall in Mecklenburg the whole time I was there. It was automatically shut down. That's number one. Single cells. All cells were single. You didn't have a cell partner. You couldn't have a cell partner. It was only 12 cells in each block. Easily the smallest block I ever been on. 12 cells. Every other block I've been on and every other prison I've been on, it's going to be 70 to 80 something plus people or even more. So it's just the differences is so crazy. Mecklenburg just changed so much when they did turn it into receiving. It's a whole different thing. But like you say, them stairways, going down to go out to the rec yard, the hallways, all of that stuff, man, people was getting slaughtered. People was getting chopped up. People was getting stabbed. Maimed. All of that. I would go so far as to say it's almost a 80 to 90% chance that whatever cell you was in when you was there, somebody probably uh somebody probably even got something real bad done to them in there, or it's 100% chance somebody some left some blood in there before. Because that's just how much violence was going on them compounds then. This is the same compound that the dudes escaped from death row on. This is the same compound that they took over the prison for 3 or 4 days and had to have the National Guards come in and take the prison back. This is the same institution. This is the same institution that housed the most notorious people that ever come through the Virginia penal system on. So yeah, it is like a badge of honor to people, I guess, to say they was on Mecklenburg, but they on the new Mecklenburg and they won't on the old Mecklenburg. The old Mecklenburg is where the name comes from, and I think one of the most craziest things I seen there was due to one of my homeboys that I talked about on there, Marty, man. Marty ended up beefing with the police, and Marty, they ran down on Marty, man, and beat him up for some foolishness, and as soon as he come off, man, he go to war with him. He just has that type of mentality, and he go to war with him, and he make him come run down on him again. This is weeks and stuff later, and when they ran down there on him, he was ready for him. He stabbed a couple of them, but one of the dudes that he stabbed turned out later on to be a warden. He's a warden right now, and they beat Marty so bad in there, man, and they broke his arm and broke his ribs, and it was wintertime, and they bust the windows out, man, and they left him in there, man, cuffed up with broken arm and ribs and stuff, man, and let him catch pneumonia, and I just think that just shows you the cruelty that was going on up there, and they was meeting force with force. So when they came at you, man, you had to be willing to go at them and even willing to take them out because they might do it to you. So the penalty was going to be the same either way. They going to be trying to hurt you, man. So why not fight back? And I remember too as well on there, I told y'all before when the dude was arguing with the dude and he had his arm out the tray slot and he wouldn't close his tray because he felt like he didn't get what he was supposed to get. So he arguing with the police and he telling the police to go get the supervisor. He don't want to go get the supervisor. He keep trying to close the slot. So they going through all this verbal sparring with each other, and the CO ended up kicking the slot, and he had his hand out on the slot and cut a couple of his fingers off. Cut it straight off, severed it. And that was an eye-opener to me. You know what I'm saying? And the dude who did that, I'll never forget his name, man. And I'm going to say his name. His name was Tisdale because he had a cousin that played in the NBA at the time and ended up being a bass player after his NBA career, Wayman Tisdale. And he cut that dude's fingers off, man. And he didn't even get fired for that. You know what I'm saying? So this is the type of stuff that was going on when I was there, and that stuff shaped my mind, man. You know what I'm saying? It shaped my mentality of, how I had to do this time because what could happen to me. And all those things, they shook me up because I always put myself in those positions. You know what I'm saying? What this dude cut my finger off, man. What the police beat me down and break up my bones and then leave me in the cell to catch pneumonia before they even bring medical to me a week later or something. You know, man, I don't know if I would have survived if those type of things would have happened to me. I don't, you know what I'm saying? And I mean by that is, I think I would have made them kill me, you know, because I think my response would have warned them killing me, you know, and trying to justify it. And I believe they would have did it because that's the type of time they was on there. But yeah, I seen a lot of vicious things on there, man. And like I say, you got to take the bad with the good. And that was bad. And the good part about it is, if there is a good part, you got to always look for the positive and the negative. Is that, you know, it made me know what I was up against early in my bit. You know what I'm saying? Because you got to think now. I'm leaving Southampton receiving, going to the Wall, leaving the Wall, going to Augusta, leaving Augusta, going to Mecklenburg. So this is all within my first 5 years. You know what I'm saying? That I'm seeing the worst of the worst. So I knew what to expect going forward. The problem with these dudes coming in the system now, they go to a soft receiving and then they go to one of these little regular camps, and then by the time they hit the yard on Greensville or hit the yard on Buckingham or go to get, God forbid, get sent to Wallace Ridge, they don't know what's going on. They overwhelmed. They just like I was when I went on Mecklenburg, but probably don't even have the mentality that I had. And the only reason I had the mentality that I had because I had already seen the streets of D.C. But at the same time, even seeing that, I was still nervous. It ain't no shame in me telling y'all that. Because, man, it's different. Seeing people on the street in D.C. get shot across the street and people take off running to shoot up the block or something. Man, you seeing dudes getting stabbed up close, personal, right there, 10 feet away from you. You seeing blood pop out of the dude's chest and pop out of the dude's face and out of the dude's neck. That's different, dog. I don't care what nobody tell you. That's different. And you looking at it right, and you can hear these. Yeah, you can hear it, see it, smell it. It's different, man. It's different than watching the dude cross the street get shot. It's different. Even if you watch a dude walk up on the dude and shoot him and leave, it's different. You know what I'm saying? To see that, that's different, man. So, yeah, man, I seen a lot on Mecklenburg, man. I seen a lot on there, man. And I was grateful to get up off of that joint. I ain't gonna lie to you. You know, I met a lot of good dudes on there, though. And I made a lot of lifelong friends on Mecklenburg, man. A lot of lifelong friends, man. Shorty Sites, Graham, DP, Shorty Pimp, Bo Billy, the list goes on. Stacy Perry. I did, because we all grew up together. You know what I'm saying? Most of us, some of them was in there before me, but I ended up doing so much time with them. It's like we grew up together and we survived together. So, you know, it worked out for the best, man, but it could have been so much worse, man. Could have been so much worse.
The Banky special.
Yeah.
Pure deliciousness.
Pure deliciousness, man. My name is Banky, man. Everybody calls me Banky. That's the name that I got from my grandmother when I was young. I'm coming out here after 30 years. Yeah, I ain't got nothing, but I'm gonna have something because I'm rich in personality, you know, and I'm rich in love. My family love me, and that's really all that counts.